if there's one place I think that I would say that anybody should go and try at least once, it would be CrossFit. Triforce, you guys have done an amazing job, I think more so than, many other groups that I've seen. CrossFit and the methodology is so awesome. And, when they say anybody can do it, it's quite literally anybody can do it. And we've seen people that are, they're 60, 70, 80 years old or older that are in the best shape of their lives because of CrossFit. No matter what your age is, no matter what your prior history of working out, it doesn't matter. Everything is infinitely scalable and modifiable.
What's up, everybody? I'm Chris Davis, here with my wife, Megan Davis, and we are your hosts for the My Blank Fitness Journey podcast. During this podcast, we will reveal the secrets that we have used to help our community become more healthy, fit, and confident, and also hear from some amazing people in our community as they fill in the blank and tell us about their fitness journey. Listen in and be ready to be inspired by our guests who, just like you, are superheroes as we dive into their origin story. All right, guys, welcome back. We are super excited to have our very first guest on this podcast, Mr. Larry Hickernell. It only seems appropriate that Larry is our first guest on My Blank Fitness Journey podcast since he was our very first client at Triforce CrossFit. We've known Larry for, like 4.5, almost 5 years now, it seems like, and super amazing guy. So welcome to the show, Larry.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, so happy to be here.
Yeah, great. We appreciate you jumping on. And there's obviously going to be some technical issues, and Larry said that he is used to dealing with technical issues, so he's not going to cry if our audio or video goes out, and neither should you. So the first question that we're going to have for you, Larry, is just a super general, broad, let you be the artist here. I want you to fill in the blank of my blank fitness journey. So what's your answer?
Yeah, so I thought about this, and I was going to purposefully not look at the questions beforehand because I didn't want to have some sort of pre-prepared answer. So sometimes I think I go back and I say it's amazing. That's probably the first word that comes to mind.
Yeah.
But I think it changes. Sometimes it's my amazing fitness journey, and sometimes it's my super frustrating fitness journey, and sometimes it's like a fun fitness journey. So it's hard to pick one word because sometimes it changes, but I would have to say amazing if I had to choose one.
Larry's amazing fitness journey. That's awesome. And we've gotten to be a part of that, like I said, for the past several years and gotten to witness your amazing fitness journey. So if you could just real quick, give us a quick overview of what your fitness journey was like before you joined at Triforce CrossFit.
Yeah, no, I'd love to. Yeah, so I started doing CrossFit about 6 years ago now. Before, and I guess maybe going way back, high school, I was an athlete. I played soccer, baseball, basketball, anything that you could think of. I was always doing something athletic. And then after high school and college, settled down, had the family, and, ate whatever I wanted, was a couch potato, didn't do much. So, gained a ton of weight over, call it 10 years, right? So my heaviest, I was, considered, of course, morbidly obese, and not in the way that The Rock is morbidly obese. So it was, I was sick every day. I was tired. We had, both girls at the time, Sarah and Lily, were super young. And I was like, man, this is just awful. So went to the doctor one day, I don't feel well. They took blood work and stuff. All my levels were off the charts. Everything was, all the bad stuff was super high. All the good stuff was super low. And so, the doctor was basically like, you need to change your life. If you want to see your kids grow up, you need to make some major changes now. So, I went back, and he essentially told me exactly, what to eat, super restrictive diet, which, Megan, I don't know that you'd recommend the way that it happened the first time around. But, it was effective, right? I lost about 85 pounds. I started walking first during my lunch periods, at work, whenever I had a chance. And then I started running. So that's really, I think, where I started in kind of the refresh of the fitness journey, because, it was going from absolutely nothing to walking to running. And I was like, man, I'm like really fast. I could, run a pretty fast, 5K for an old guy. But, I was super skinny. People were asking me, like, they pull me aside at church and stuff. They're like, hey, are you okay? I'm like, what are you talking about? They're like, you're just like, are you sick? I'm like, no, I feel great. But it was like, I was really, fast, and I had a lot of aerobic capacity, but I didn't feel very strong at all. Right. So I was looking for other things to do. So I went to an awesome, this is up in Pennsylvania. I went to an awesome gym up there called CrossFit Q in Quakertown, and, did the trial, went through foundations, did the baseline workout, and I was like, oh, this is a lot of fun. But, I still wasn't very strong. So, I couldn't push press a 95-pound barbell when I started. I was 170 pounds soaking wet, which, was a healthy weight, but, I wasn't very strong. My legs were like chicken legs. And, I felt like doing something like CrossFit would help me overall. So, started going to CrossFit then. About 4 months later, I did my first competition up there. There's videos of me still, chicken legs and, failing a, 135-pound clean, which, it's amazing that sort of, again, that journey where, you look back at it and you're like, man, it seems easy now because you've been practicing it for, 5-6 years, and, it's pretty cool. So, weight has come back. So, the problem with that type of diet is, you do have almost like a crash. I mean, I was eating maximum 1,200 calories a day, pretty much keto, no carbs, essentially. But it kind of kick-started, the process. So, you fast forward to today, I'm eating better foods. I don't feel hungry as much. And today it's more about, control and consistency, rather than like starvation and having a bad relationship with food. So, moved down to Florida about 4 years ago, saw your guys, actually a Facebook ad. I would go to another gym down by the beach, which was great. And, they were great gym, but, some days it was 35 minutes each way. And, when you guys put out the first Facebook ads and stuff, it was like, this is going to be awesome. So, that's when we got in touch.
Yeah, that's super cool. And that is an amazing story. And I think a few of the things that you said that really will resonate with a lot of the people that are listening is, you're kind of comfortable with being uncomfortable, as far as like, when you start off, like we all have a tendency to kind of get complacent with our health and wellness. And it's super easy to just continue down the path that we're heading down. I think it took kind of some severe news from your doctor to say, okay, like it's time to change, and thinking not just about yourself, but about your kids. And so I think that's a really interesting kind of turning point for you. And it's been cool for me on this end of it to see, like, it's gone from, oh, well, okay, so now I can not just focus on, like, I've achieved some of the things I needed to do. Like, how's your blood work now and everything? Like, you've been back to the doctor and how is it?
No, it's never been, better. It's always been, everything's within normal ranges, and, it's just, I feel great.
Yeah.
Unless I go off the rails on a weekend or something and, don't stick to my, my plan, which again, it's more just kind of about, you have guardrails now, rather than like being all the way on this side and then going all the way onto this side and feeling sporadic. Kind of your, like you said, kind of the comfort level and where you can push, both in the gym, but then also, you can say, okay, well, I'm making choices because, I like crap last weekend. I'm going to, rein it in, and I have control now. It's something I'm making a choice on now, instead of, the outside forces controlling me.
Absolutely. That's super powerful. you mentioned like, seeing a Facebook ad and jumping in with us, like, Larry was the first one that had any sort of faith in us. I think Larry and his family have more faith in us than we did, at the beginning. We had no idea what we were doing, opening a gym. And I think Larry is a super empowering person. And so he was able to step in and help us in a time where we knew nobody or knew nothing in our area, and we were trying to open a gym. And so, when we're speaking about journeys, Larry has certainly been a pivotal part of our entrepreneurial and business and our own personal journeys. So thanks, Larry. It's been fun. Megan, you want to take the next one?
I love hearing your story. Every time I hear it, something else just makes me excited for you. I love hearing your backstory, and then we love every time that we get to see you in the gym. So I'd kind of like to hear a little bit more about what it's been like for you since you joined Triforce.
Yeah, no, I mean, and truly, like coming in, I was on the same page as you guys. I had obviously done CrossFit for a while, but had never coached, and you guys were kind of the impetus for me going and getting my L1. It was neat to be a part of something that is growing. In my professional career, I had always been at places that were super big, well-established companies. And, with that, there's a lot of bureaucracy. There's, not a lot of hunger. There's a lot of real, just complacency. It's a great word for it. But, modeling what I've done, at my company now with DLP and, seeing, our founder, Don's, his journey and how he approaches entrepreneurship. I saw a lot of that in you guys, like, hey, let's take something that doesn't exist and then create something out of it. So, for me, like the journey from that day one when, the rig was coming in on a truck, and before, all the way to today where you guys, like, there's now 2 locations. I mean, a couple hundred members. It's like, for me, I just love seeing how, you guys impacted me directly, and, very literally in the sense where like we had Chris and I were like the only 2 people in the gym for like 3 weeks. Right. And, it was like, I didn't want to do anything. I'm like, oh, I'm going to come in. It's 5 a.m. or, whatever. I'm like, why don't we just stretch today? And Chris is like, no, you're going to do the workout. What are you talking about? So, the standards have always been really high, but there's that collaborative nature. Like, I know that there are places out there, and I don't want to put anybody down, but like there are places out there where, it's all about, hey, we're going to get people to the games, right? Like that's our focus, and these like super elite people. And it's like, there's a lack of culture, I think, in a lot of those places. And, from day one, you guys established a culture, first, not only being faith-based, but then also, opening that up to people who, I think about all the folks that kind of started, right around me and, that first sort of group of people and where they're at today. And you still see them coming in. And it's like the progress they've made. And like, in many cases, those folks are like, outlifting me, or they can run faster than me, or like they're more consistent than me, which, is more important than any of that. But you guys made it happen. So like, that's, even more than, the workouts are fun. I love, the best hour of the day, and, just, not focusing on anything except, not passing out because of a hard workout. But it's like seeing that growth over time, and, the struggles were there for sure, but, you guys stuck to it. You marched forward, and you're in an awesome place right now. It's just amazing to see.
I think that's really fun for us to see too, because like you mentioned, a lot of those people that have been consistent, like, I think one of the things that measures for success for us is like seeing them surpass their own expectations. And like you said, they're outlifting all the coaches that they started learning from, which is really fun to see.
Yeah, no, there's really no limit, I think, to the things that people can do there. It's like, you have created this forum where, the programming is great, it's a great workout, but it's like, there's that nature of, hey, I'm going to come in. I know that people are going to be smiling. I know that, people are going to be friendly. I know that, everybody's there to better themselves. And that just makes you want to push harder, more so to me anyway. It's more so than like having somebody screaming at me, like, or, trying to race somebody, or try to lift, 1.5 pounds heavier than somebody else, right?
That never happens.
Look, I fall into the trap too. I do it too. Like I'll look at whatever Chris is doing, and I'll try to. Although lately I can't even get close. But.
Or he smokes me on plenty of workouts. Don't let him fool you. This is a super random question that I want to ask.
The answer is yes.
Yes. It's not a yes or no question. If your answer is yes, it'll be interesting. So the part of the point of this podcast is that we're talking about people's fitness journeys, and it's kind of like, looking at you and the rest of our members, like it's kind of like everybody's a superhero. Like, everybody comes in, they've got this journey. You watch any of the Marvel or DC movies, and, you watch these superheroes as they're growing up and as they get their superpower and, all the obstacles that they have to overcome, and, they rise to the occasion. And that's what every one of you guys has done. So what superpower do you want to have, but what's your like real world, real life superpower? Like if you're like, I'm really good at this, or this is something that like I'm unnaturally amazing at. What's your superpower in real life, Larry?
Other than eating chicken wings, I don't know. So it's an interesting question, because it's like, I don't like to talk about myself in general, but it's, I find that I've gotten, and maybe this is a developed skill, I think, and this, came because of the journey that I've been on. And, obviously, my work life has a lot to do with it and what we focus on here, but, for a long time, even when I was, I was always naturally good at sports. I was always, pretty good at connecting with people and, being able to, at least hold a conversation at the very least. But I always kind of had somewhat of a victim mentality. Things are happening to me, like the world is happening to me. And even all the way up to, the time when, I went to the doctor, I'm like, why is this happening to me? Right. But, you look back now and you're like, well, no, I did all that crap for myself. I'm the one that ate pretzels with chocolate milk, every night. I'm the one that ate, drank a case of beer, every couple of nights, right? Like you do it to yourself. So I think if I had to name a superpower that I would be proud of, like, and that's not just a natural thing, I think it would be, being able to take a step back and flip that mindset of, hey, I'm a victim versus, I'm growing, I'm learning, I'm developing, I'm stretching myself out of my comfort zone. And, certainly it's done me well, I think, in all aspects of my life. That's not to say, that you don't revert. There are a lot of times when I'm just like, I want to feel sorry for myself, and I want to say, oh, well, I really sucked at that workout, or I really don't want to get up, and I have a lot of hard meetings or whatever the case is. Like, it doesn't matter what it is, and that's different for everybody. Sometimes it's just getting out of bed. But the superpower that anybody chooses is to get out of bed, or to just make that choice and, count down from 5 and go. So that I guess would be what I have to say.
That's super cool. Like, flipping the script on victim mentality to becoming the owner of your destiny is really amazing. And that definitely is a superpower. And I've seen you 100% capable of that. And like you said, like, I think a small example is like when you're at the gym and in the middle of a really hard workout, it's like you said, you count down from 5 and then you go. Like, it's really easy for me to be really tired and then like, I need to tie my shoe, or like, oh man, I would love some water right now, like, but you just get back on the barbell, or you just get back on the thing, and that's you taking ownership. And right now, I think, especially in a world where there's so much going on around us that we don't have any influence over, to say the things that I can influence, that my daily results that I can actually make an effect on, I'm going to. And that's super cool. Like, I've certainly seen that in your life, like you said, in your work life, in your life with your family, with your friends, and at the gym, for sure. So absolutely.
No, and look, it's a very simple thing to do, where you have to train yourself, and sometimes it's 3 seconds, sometimes it's 5 seconds, sometimes it's 10 seconds, and I won't admit on camera that I do sit there way too long sometimes, but the lesson is, keep getting back up. Yeah. Just don't quit.
Super cool. Megan, what do we have next?
So I love hearing that because, like we said, being able to do so many workouts with you over the years, I would definitely say that you can see that happening. Like in the middle of long workouts, in the middle of tough ones, it's like, I know Larry is going to give his best. Like, I know that this is hard. This hurts right now. He's uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable. We're all uncomfortable. But I think that there's something to be said about that, like kind of mutual suffering, but knowing that like, you're not going to quit. And it's really empowering, I think, to the other people in our gym and to us. Like you said, like, kind of having that culture that having you in class and knowing that, you're uncomfortable, but you're going to do your best, like, and whatever that is for that day. And like, I think that builds into our culture, and like, you're part of the reason that we have that, because of that superpower that you bring to the classes. So, I love that. So, okay. I know I have lots of favorite Larry memories at Triforce, but we want to hear from you. What is one of your favorite memories from Triforce?
Anytime I get to dress up in something crazy and try to work out, that's pretty fun. Christmas parties have always been interesting, trying to do muscle ups or whatnot. After a fun night of partying, I recall that very well. I think a lot of it, it's funny because, you have a lot of workout memories that are like, man, this was an awesome workout. It was so much fun to do, or it wasn't so much fun to do, but like you said, suffering together was really awesome. But a lot of it is like, my favorite memories are all just like either before or after a class, like whether I've worked out or coached, which hasn't happened in a while, but like, you're sitting there, you're talking to somebody and, they ring the bell because they got a PR, or, we're chatting and it's like, hey, I haven't seen such and such in, a couple of months, and they're back, and then they start to crush it again. It's like, that's my favorite thing to see, because it's like, and I love that about CrossFit is like, it's almost like cheers, right? Like you go there, everybody knows your name, and it's like, you go in and, whether you, and again, I travel for work a lot. So, I would say that today my biggest struggle is consistency. I can't be in the gym, 5 days a week or even 4 days a week sometimes like I used to. But, you see folks that even if you don't come for a while, or, you have to take a deload week or month or whatever, right? You come back in and there's no judgment. It's like, hey, welcome back. It's like, you don't have to feel like, if you walk into like a Globo gym sort of a thing, and it's like, you have these people that have these egos, and it's like, you don't get any of that at CrossFit, and certainly not at Triforce, because it's, that awesome culture where nobody's there to pressure you. You just show up. So I love those memories. I mean, just seeing people come in, and, I have a lot of memories of people's like, first day of foundations, and, doing some of the, the baseline workouts with them, and, now seeing them outperform me on a lot of workouts, and, just seeing people develop over time. That's amazing to me.
Okay. I was saying that I love, one of my favorite memories is that's hard to beat is that you showed up and were like, hey guys, I'd like to be a member of the gym. I saw an ad, that you guys are open, and we're like, great, we'd love to have you as a member. Can you also help us unload the truck so that we can put the rig inside so you can become a member?
I remember that vividly. It was an awesome day, and that's, I don't think this has changed either. Like having all the members that we have now, and, having to work with, so many different kinds of people, like you guys have never taken the focus off of, hey, like you're the person in front of me, you're the member right now, like you're the one that I need to, focus on. And you do that with everybody. Like it's just awesome. And so, it was pretty cool. And again, like coming in and, saying, hey, you guys have, some stuff you need to do so that you can open up. And I don't want to say I knew that it was going to be, fantastic, but, I knew by your attitude and by your drive and by your commitment to say like, hey, like we're doing this thing. It's definitely scarier than anything I've ever done. So I just thought that was awesome. And I was like, yeah, whatever I can do to help. Like, I just want to see you guys, get off the ground. And then, it was just from then on out, it just, kept growing. So.
Yeah, that's really cool. We didn't mention that. I mean, Larry mentioned that he was a coach, but he was our very first coach, other than Megan and I. And it was out of, please help us, Larry, because we are going to die if we continue trying to coach all the classes. And he stepped in, though he was working, 60 hours a week at his other job and has 2 young girls and a wife, and was willing to jump in. And there's a lot of our members that Larry was their very first coach, and that's super cool too. So, all right. So this has been really, really cool getting to hear your story. And I would definitely say it's been an amazing journey for you. That's an awesome word to pick. I guess to finish off, what would you say to somebody who is on the fence about joining Triforce, or even if somebody's not local, somebody that's trying to get into a fitness routine? Like, what would you say to somebody that is considering it and is just like, I'm not sure if this is for me or if it's going to work or whatever?
Yeah, just do it. just don't count down from 3 and do it. Show up, and keep showing up. Trust the process. It's CrossFit and the methodology is so awesome. And, when they say anybody can do it, it's quite literally anybody can do it. And we've seen people that are, they're 60, 70, 80 years old or older, that are in the best shape of their lives because of CrossFit. And that doesn't mean that they're, doing a 250-pound snatch. It doesn't mean that they're doing, ring muscle ups, but they don't have a fear, or they don't have any kind of a problem thinking that, hey, I'm going to fall and break something, because they're functional. They're able to go about their lives and extend their lives and move on to that, that wellness continuum. And no matter what your age is, no matter what your, prior history of working out is, if you have one, even, it doesn't matter. Like, everything is infinitely scalable and modifiable. You're not going to have anybody making fun of you or bullying you or, saying nasty things about you, either to your face or behind your back. If there's one place I think that I would say that anybody should go and try at least once, it would be CrossFit. And, Triforce, you guys have done an amazing job. I think more so than, many, many other groups that I've seen, in fostering that, where, hey, show up, do the best you can. Like you said, Megan, it's like, just do the best you can, keep showing up, and you're going to see results, which, if the, looking good sort of thing is your primary goal, you can do that. Getting off of diabetes medicine, or getting off of blood pressure medicine, or, being more healthy inside, is your goal. And, that works for you. If being super strong and, being able to do cool movements and stuff is your thing, that's awesome. You can do it all in CrossFit. And there's a little bit of all of that with, what I like to see, but, just don't hesitate. Just do it. Just jump in and do it.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Larry. You guys heard it here from Larry about his amazing fitness journey with us, before us. And it's going to continue onward and upward for Larry. And that's the super cool part. He mentioned, staying between the guardrails. So that's a part of it for all of us. We're not all going to have this linear path straight up to being this ideal person that we want to be. But as long as we pick ourselves back up when we hit the floor, and get going, do that countdown, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, pick the barbell up, whatever it is, realizing that we have not fallen off the cliff completely and that we can get back to it. So yeah, that's awesome. Larry, if anybody would like to hear more about you, your story, connect with you, what would be a great way for them to connect to you?
Yes, on, Facebook, social media, Instagram is, all out there. Obviously, if anybody, wanted to give me a call, I'd be happy to give you my phone number and, email address, whatever.
Super cool.
Me up in the gym, just.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's Larry Hickernell Jr. Don't message his dad. He won't answer. Awesome.
What is this? What are you talking about? I've never done CrossFit a day in my life.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time, Larry.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Larry.
All right. See ya.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of My Blank Fitness Journey podcast. If this story inspired you, make sure that you like and subscribe to the podcast on whatever platform you're using. If you'd like to reach out to us, you can check us out at triforcecrossfit.com. Just send us a message and we'd love to help you. See you guys soon on the next episode.